That could have been the whole podcast gone down in the first 5 seconds of me getting into my place. All right. Are we ready? Are we ready, ladies and gentlemen? This time I can say, good evening, everybody, and welcome to Something to Scream About. My name is Jordan, and on my left, we have Cameron.
Borderline good night.
It really is borderline good night because it's late. It's a late one, which is why Morgan's not with us tonight. It's past his bedtime. No.
Mama.
So yeah, he's not with us today, but we're just going to continue on, power on without him. We've got a action-packed episode full of some awesome stuff.
Which probably would have read on the headliner.
Oh yeah, the title, and would have read
Stepson.
So we've got
Jayden.
Yeah, we've got our special guest Jayden from Stepson joining us at some point. Very soon.
We have a caller on the line right now.
Yeah. Next caller, please.
Should we do the old, well, not really housekeeping, but sort of tell the ladies and gents what we've been up to?
Well, yeah, housekeeping. Our podcast is a little bit late. You guys have been sick and stuff, so we had to sort of push back a few things. We did a Zoom meeting, so we had to hang out on Zoom for a bit. Filmed that, yeah. So we've got footage of all these types of things. But we also managed to, before we all got sick, we managed to go and see a little festival.
That's probably how we got sick.
Yeah, that's very true.
So yeah, we went to Full Tilt in Brisbane at the Edens Hill Hotel outside in the big grassy area. So get this, guys and girls. I got so drunk that the only band that I went to see, I ended up not seeing because I got so drunk. I ended up leaving. Did not get kicked out before. I hear you judging my ass. I willingly left because when I have this thing I do that when I get really fucking drunk, I just want to go get food and go to bed. I'm just like kebab in bed, Macca's in bed,
yeah.
whatever.
There's no see you later. It's just hang on. Where's Cam gone?
Gone,
and then he's gone.
I'm just like I need food and sleep. So I'm gonna have to go see Northlane again because that's who I wanted to see. But they're playing in like a month or two again up here, so we're gonna go. See
finally.
them and take two on that. But that was sweet. Really, really, really fun night. We had pre-drinks here. We just put on their new album. Album,
it's a new album. So their latest album, Obsidian, just dropped the day before they played, which was kind of, obviously, if you've been listening to this podcast, you'll know we postponed this event so many times to be able to go to it. So,
over a year.
Yeah. So it took so long to be able to get to this point, and it just so happened that they dropped that album.
I think that accumulated to how drunk we got too, because it's like we waited so freaking long to like go see these bands, and we hadn't had a night out in ages, so we're just like, we're
way too excited, overly excited, and just got a little bit too hot on pre-drinks on entry.
Downed a whole bottle before we left, and then got there, and then we thought the line was going to be big for drinks, and then there was like keeps people getting drinks, but they actually had a lot of workers on, so. You only waited about 3 minutes to get a drink.
Yeah,
like
not
2-3 minutes. Like sometimes it was just instant. You just walk in and get a drink. So that was bad. And I just got very off my titties. Threw my neck out the next day when I woke up. The hangover was nothing. My neck. Oh
from headbanging so much.
Headbanging in
collectively
the bloody.
just
I remember.
Obviously, we don't do it enough.
Was it Thy Art Is Murder that played?
Yeah.
They had this one song that was so heavy and I was just going off my head, and then this dude turned around and like stared at me really angrily. I think because I was going like behind him, like trying to like, and I think I was in his ear, just me screaming in his ear.
Just false chording in his ear.
But
no, it was good, man.
That was mad.
It was a really good day, and it was so good to kind of see live music. And as we'll get a little bit of an insight, because Stepson actually played at Full Tilt Festival.
Yeah.
I actually wish I was a little bit more aware of this rather than pre-drinking so hard, so we could have actually
definitely probably made a good first impression on the boys.
Yeah, exactly. But we've been sort of silently watching them from the sidelines, so it's really kind of exciting to get an insight as to what that's like to play on those kind of stages and be involved in those kind of gigs from that side of things. So hopefully we'll hear a little bit more about that.
Yeah. In regards to the live stuff, but how's the sound guy just didn't want to bar us?
Yeah, maybe our state didn't really help, but
Trying to drunk talk to the sound guy, trying to network, and he didn't want to. He was just fuck off.
yeah, I was like, what EQ are you using on the snare there, mate?
Yeah, like he cares.
Yeah, have you pocketed out the 1K notch effectively? Because I can hear it popping out of the front of house, mate, and I don't think you're doing a very good job.
Oh my god!
And then he was like, mate, I'm not even touching anything.
It was cool to see everything. You know, I mean, as producers and musicians and players ourselves, like when you go to a gig, you just can't help but notice all the gear and like who's running what and where's this going, what backing track are they using, and one thing I actually can say is from what I remember was that a lot of bands were very stationary. Which I would think at that professional level, I think you and I looked at each other and were like, they're fucking like, some bands literally were just playing like the guitarist mainly, who I'm talking about, like just standing completely still and just
I was going to say, I didn't see any of the drummers move a millimeter. They just sat there the whole time.
On their stool.
Yeah, in the exact same stool. They didn't do anything. No.
But, yeah, I know. So that was a bit like, I don't know. You see bands like Crystal Lake or something, and they're just absolutely insane, spinning in circles and playing really hard riffs. But but no, it was really cool. I mean, something about live guitars and drums and bass and everything just hitting out of those speakers, man, just gets you so hyped.
It was very inspirational, I think, just to like, and then especially coming back into the studio and then being like, thinking about the translation of certain parts in the song. You know, you might overthink certain things in the studio and go, oh, that's going to really hit here, or that's not. And then other sections you deliberately write for big crowds or big festival stages where you want that impact. And we could really feel that for those sections where you go, whoa, that's like that really translated live when they did that.
One thing I've learned too is that live is so not like, doesn't have to be like the studio. Like, I remember when we first started writing music, I was very like, oh, but we can't do that live. Like, can't put that in the record because you can't do it live. And it was like, because I was like, I just felt weird not doing. But there were so many times where like vocalists would just stop, like put the mic down during a part of the song where he's supposed to be doing vocals, and either it'll be a backing track doing it, or they'll just do the old Ollie Sykes and just hold the mic out to the crowd and say, you do it, bitch. You sing the record.
You help me here. Yeah, exactly. And there's certain things you can do in the studio that don't work live and vice versa, and you sort of have to work out a way of doing it. And some bands will go in with just writing for the music and they'll just figure out the live aspect later, and they're like, it doesn't matter, we can just put it in the backing track, or you know, we can just figure that sort of stuff out, get session players, etc. Whereas there's some bands where they just jam live, and whatever they can do is how it's recorded, because they don't do production side of stuff. They don't add all these extra layers. It's just
I like
raw.
to treat it as like the live version of the song is a completely new version of the record. Like, yeah, it's the same song in regards to the same like tab and the same key and the same lyrics and blah, blah, blah. But like the way that it's produced, I like to like split the song in two and have a studio version and then have a live version. And the live version has all of the little things that you can't do live, but then you still put them either in a backing or you have like someone do something here or there, and have it all like planned out. So then it like on stage, it like from the audience's view is like is flawless, but in reality it's been rehearsed.
That's right. Yeah, we did a section in Misfit in one of our earlier songs where we just sort of in the live version we just looped over a section to sort of add a bit more of an intense build, whereas you don't need that in the studio version because you're just listening and it's sort of a transition. But this gave us a chance to talk to the crowd, hype everyone up, sell a few T-shirts.
Throw your own T-shirt off stage.
Yeah, but you know, it just allows you to adapt the live show for certain things. Like you might have a drop and you just sort of extend out this chord before the drop and build the tension.
Yeah, just pretty much double the section in time. And then just build it up with the snares. And
one thing that we're using, obviously, is backing tracks, and I'd love to kind of pick Jayden's brain about it and see if he can help us and anyone else listening kind of what to do. But we're sort of in the mindset of just putting stuff on a backing track and then we play live and that's sort of it. There's no automation or anything going on, or no moving parts, or so to speak, during the set. Like there's not something that is slowly being turned up, like a reverb or a delay that's slowly being automated behind the scenes. It's already like baked in, or we've just got one effect chain to run stuff. And we've just been talking about it recently, you and I, about how scary that is, running so many different aspects live that could go wrong, relying on software. And like obviously in front of us we've got 15 different things plugged in, so we're relying on it all the time
right now. I suppose it's just how it is. When you get to that hopefully professional level, you have a laptop that's only dedicated to that. It'll just run your whatever door you're running, have your effects on it, and there's nothing else on the computer. So like the 100% of the CPU is just running what it's got to run. But that's true. Like doing MIDI stuff would be so sick. Getting to that level of like, you know, I hold out a fry scream and then like the delay slowly MIDI automates in and then ends at 100% right as I finish the scream. And then I just have to know that rehearse the fry goes for like 4 clicks or 8 clicks or something. And then end it. Then it's be like, like the sick delay.
That
and then
would be
turns
very
off
cool.
back when I rap again. All that sort of stuff would be awesome. So.
Yeah, because it's either you record that into a backing track and have that baked in, or you do that automation live. Or you just hold the screen longer. Which, you know, this is where all the bands do different things, and it's good to learn from everyone else and kind of see what they're doing. But those types of things make a huge like difference in your live show performance. And another thing that we've been kind of figuring out over the recording of this EP is how much the actual instrument chain from your guitar, so to speak, to the front of house speakers or to the final stem in the mix. Because not only do you have to get all your settings on the amps and cabs right, which is like a given, and most people think about that, your pedals and all that, but you need to have a clean signal from your guitar that's not peaking and it's not too quiet and it's not clicking and you're not too close to something.
If it's not right at the source, when you start amplifying, which is what you're literally doing, you're running it into an amplifier, and you're going to amplify all of those bad frequencies. And then what a lot of people do, including us when we first started, was we thought everything was in the amp and the cab, and you'd fix the tone within the amp and the cab. But in reality, the amp and the cab is to shape the tone and to get, you know, minor tweaks and stuff and gain and everything to get where you want to be. But it's got to be good at the source, because if you have crazy like ringing back from like 10k upwards, like that's gonna be amplified when you put it through the amp, and you're just gonna get like a real hissy tone, or you know, that's why it's good to have good quality jacks, not only just the jacks themselves but the actual guitar jack on the guitar itself. Make sure that that's not faulty, because I had a problem with
very true.
my Ibanez for a while where the jack was really like flopping around, and I had to get that fixed up.
Or cheap cables, which, you know, I've been a victim of. Just
victim of cheap cables.
Yeah, well, you just, you know, you see them on the shelf and they're on special, and it's like, you know, I just need to get one signal to somewhere else. But it's not as simple as that. If you're working with professional audio signals, you want the best thing you can do.
Yeah.
Which is another thing. How the hell do they get it to work wirelessly?
They think they work on, if you have wireless jacks, you have, they go on like different frequencies, like radio frequencies.
So it is like radio.
Yeah, and then they have to pick a frequency that isn't being used by either a police radar, a actual TV show radar, or a
so like
B105 or whatever. It's got to be like our in-ears, these in-ears here, these are like literally a radio transmitter, and they operate on a frequency that most people aren't on, but it actually is possible for someone to hack this. True. And if they know what frequency you're on, and they can just start putting Barbie girl music in your ear if they wanted to on stage.
So does that? That's terrible. But for us, you know, it wouldn't matter coming through our ears. But if it's coming through your guitar or being hacked, or a police officer is driving past and then suddenly he hears your Rift DI coming through his thing, like what? How do you avoid that? And
because the product itself is baked in to be in the country. There's laws, but if they release in Australia, it can't operate within certain frequencies. So it'll already be done off the bat.
Right, but
But there's still heaps of Wi-Fi. Like Wi-Fi stuff worries me, especially at venues, because there's so many wireless things. There's people's phones. There's so much interference that could really fuck up with.
That's what I'm thinking is like, does it change the tone? Do you think it's probably better to cable up?
Oh, not from a guitar jack. You'd be sweet there. It's more like in-ears and stuff and sending, like if we had a mixer board and we're trying to wirelessly, that'd be where you'd want cables, XLRs, just tape them and don't worry about it.
Yeah. So
that's why you get a big rack. You get like a big fucking stack. That's what they all have. They'll have like a Kemper or an Axifex, a compressor or something, and then they'll have the in-ears, and then they'll have probably a mixer board in that as well, and they just have all the cables going everywhere, and it's like stays in that rack.
Wow.
And you wheel it around on wheels.
Yeah, that's really impressive, isn't it? And then you've sort of just got your whole little setup like right there, ready to go. And you just sort of wheel it on. And
similar to like what we've started over there. That's a lot smaller. But like that, where I got the Axifex and I got the preamp.
Yeah.
I don't even use the preamp most of the time, but I have it there. So then if we ever do a gig and they're like, oh, we don't have a proper front of house, we've only got, these cabs on stage or something, I can use a cab with my preamp because it's a 1,000 watt, I think.
Yeah, I think it is 1,000 watt.
1,000 watt unit or whatever. So yeah, just being prepared like that. But the gig was really cool, man. From what I remember, and just it was sick to be able to get out and see a live band at a good venue again. I think. So Jayden is telling us he's ready by saying, I love you.
Thanks, Jayden. Yeah.
Thanks, bro.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you'll find that you actually made this into the podcast by sending that through.
Yeah.
So that was for his girlfriend. So he said that he loves us. Thanks. We love you too. That's funny. Okay, wicked. Well, I think Jayden might be ready to come and join us soon, but we'll see how that goes.
Good to go.
I wanted to say one more thing before we kind of bring Jayden in. I'll start the meeting up, but I just wanted to see, can we? Oh my gosh, this is great. I wish we could share this actual chat on the thing.
Look at I nearly read that out loud.
Yeah, he did. Don't read this. Okay, so I just want to talk about one more thing lastly before we go into the interview, because I was hoping you could talk about some of the MIDI pedal switches that you can then do live, because I didn't see too many people doing any dancing around up on stage with...
No, so I think you can do MIDI. Everyone runs this different. It's so different compared to each person. Some people do the tap dancing route, which I wouldn't want to do.
With 15 pedals.
Yeah, or you can do MIDI controller and have it all done through an Axifex or a Kemper or something, and then you just have presets. So every time you press a thing, it'll just switch to a preset, which will be a clean, a lead, more reverb, whatever you're looking for. And then the way I was thinking about doing it with our stuff would be... I'd pretty much have two tones, which would be lead tone with reverb and less, like almost no bass in the tone, just for like thinner leads, and then a chunky riff for like when I join in on the breakdowns and stuff. Yeah. And then I was just going to have a mute pedal. It's actually just a tuner, but I don't use it for the tuner, but the tuner's got a mute function on it. And then I just press my foot on that and I can mute my guitar, and then that way I can just swing my guitar down, grab the mic and move around stage and jump and talk to the crowd.
It makes it a lot easier to just sort of be nimble on stage and still have that ability.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's pretty much as far as I know.
Yeah, because I just didn't notice anybody actually doing anything on stage that was something like that. I saw a few pedal board setups because I kind of tried to go close and have a bit of a squiz, but obviously you're a bit lower down
you are.
From the stage. So I was trying to kind of have a look. I did get to see some backstage footage from some people just sort of showing some things. Some of the drummers were an absolute, like, on fire. I was like, oh my God.
That's sick.
And I was jealous of some of their kits and mic setups and all sorts of things because it sounded really good. Outdoor gigs are hard to get right as well because having some sort of power to get to the back of the venue whilst also having to worry about noise restrictions and all sorts of things like that.
The music sounded like really far away even though we were really close.
Yeah, true.
Didn't sound bad by any means. It sounded really good. It just sounded like further away than what it was. Like I felt like I was standing way further back from the stage, even though I was actually quite close.
Yeah, it sort of just dissipates because you're not in a room. So
yeah, it just goes out into the ether. It's just like
just
there's no bounce back, right?
Yeah, which is kind of good because in some rooms, which we spoke about in a podcast episode, I don't know, however long ago, that this brick venue, I think we called it Get a Better Venue. That was
I didn't want to name it that. I was like,
you need to get a better venue if it's just brick. So
yeah, I suppose.
Anyway, I think our guest is ready to join us. We've got Jayden from Stepson joining us here. Remove him from the... Okay, let's just accept him. Bring him into the room. See if he's here. We'll try and get this all working because...
Oh, yeah, do that.
I don't know how it is. Let's turn
good
this
job,
up.
mate.
Hey,
he's sideways.
He's sideways. I love it. Hang on. I've just got to put my headphones on so I can hear him. We're still getting this sort of stuff right, bro. So bear with us.
Yeah. Now we can hear you, brother.
Now we can hear you. So how come you're sideways? What's going on? How do we get you around the other way?
I have the phone in portrait. I can...
There it is.
That will be amazing. That's fine. That's great.
Yeah,
Thank you, bro. So
thanks for coming on, brother.
So this is everyone. This is Jayden from Stepson, and Jayden, you're the bass player. Is that right?
Yeah. Bass player, and I do a bit of singing too.
Do you? Hey, very nice. Very, very cool. So first things first, bro. Congratulations on Full Tilt Festival. That was we were just talking about that before, and how sick that was. So. I wondered maybe just like before we sort of dive into a bit of that, maybe you could tell us a bit about like your band and sort of what you guys do, who you are for anybody that might not know who you guys are. So tell us a bit about you guys.
Yeah, Full Tilt was sick, by the way.
Awesome.
For what I can remember.
As the day went on, it got hazy.
Oh, it did.
Yeah, definitely
did. I guess Stepson, where I guess you'd say a hardcore punk, melodic hardcore sort of band based from Brisbane. Been kicking for a few years, and I don't know. What else do you want to know?
You got some good clean stuff too, man. We're just checking the other stuff out before. We'd released something, like a couple months ago?
Yeah, a bit more clean. Like pop influence, kind of like a bit more like not as heavy, which is very nice.
Maybe longer. Might have been a year ago.
Might have been a bit longer.
Recent, but it was like, damn. I was like, this is like just hit from the side, but it was like still dope as hell. I was like, I'm vibing to this, and I don't normally vibe to like softer stuff. So yeah, man, the music's really good, really good.
And
cheers, man. We like to change it up a bit, so we sort of, I think, because we have like several different writers in the band, like a lot of the different influences come through.
It would, hey,
and we like, I don't know, man. No one wants to listen to the same riff like 10 times on an album, so you got to change it up,
especially when you have to mix it.
You have to listen to it over and over. Yeah, that's so true, man. So we noticed that you guys released your debut album last year. I think it was like March last year, so that looked really cool. And obviously, we're well aware of what sort of it takes to write a song and get it to that kind of point. So tell us a little bit, if you can, about your like writing process as a band. Like you said, you got a couple of writers. So how do you kind of get the idea from initial idea through to,
finished product?
Yeah, what we hear on Spotify.
Yeah. I'll preface it by saying we are the most scuffed operation you will ever see. So
that's all right. That's all good.
It's tricky for us because like while we are a Brizzy band, where like we live all over the place. Like our drummer's down in Melbourne. Our singers just moved back to Port Macquarie. Wow. I'm in northern New South Wales.
Yeah.
The other boys are up in Brizzy. So, we don't necessarily just like get in a room for 8 hours and bash it out till we have a song. Normally it starts with one of us sort of having like a skeleton of a song or like some riffs and stuff they throw together, and then we'll sort of like do a little scratch track of that and send it to everyone and see what we think, and it's either riffs or whiffs. And if it's good enough, like we'll sort of expand on that idea, throw some stuff around, and a lot of it's just sort of back and forth between each other.
For sure.
Until we've got like something we're happy to like book in with the studio, then go in the studio and we sort of finish it all there and add all those like little 1%ers and polish to make it what you hear on Spotify in the end.
So everyone's competent in producing to a basic standards where you guys know how to work an audio interface, plug your instruments in, do like your recordings. And...
A little bit.
Some of us know.
Yeah.
It's hard, yeah.
Brock and Fari, they're quite good at it. That's our singer and guitarist.
Vocalist.
Myself and Benno. Yeah, myself and Benno, we suck at that shit.
That's all good. Yeah. So you guys go into a studio and stuff and then just start hashing it out from there. Because like we do all of our sort of stuff in-house. So we're producers. So we do mixing and stuff already from other genres. So it's kind of the next step was to try and do it ourselves. But do you reckon having someone else like mix your stuff and like help you in the studio gives you that sort of outside opinion to help level up the songs a bit? Like, do you reckon that helps, or is it hard to work with someone else's kind of input?
Luckily for us, we've sort of always worked with Callan Orr. He plays in a band called Dream on Dreamer. He's based down in Melbourne. He's awesome. And, you know, he's almost like an extra member of Stepson in a sense. So, like, working with him, it's pretty natural, pretty easy. And we've got, like, that relationship where, you know, he never sort of oversteps his mark, but, you know, it's like we're good enough friends where he'll be like, this idea sucks, guys.
Yeah. It's good to have
and
that.
I think, like, and, like, having that extra person on the outside, I don't know. I feel like when we're writing and especially, like, you know, producing stuff together, so my phone's just going for a wander. But, yeah, I feel like that outside perspective is really good because, like, I'm sure, like, you guys get it as well. When you're producing your own stuff or you're writing and demoing, it's really easy to get caught up in your own hype. Like, how often
100%.
have you, like, spent a whole night just smashing this thing and you're like, this is sick.
Then you open
and then the next day when you and you're just like,
I'm trash. My band's trash. What the fuck? Dude, 100%, like a million%.
Yeah, that happens all the time.
We actually listened to our other mix today and I was worried before we listened.
I was like, oh no. Very relatable, bro.
I think like in that sense, it's very helpful having, like, outside perspective. But, you know, we sort of have a few, like, little checkpoints we have to get past before we even go to the studio. Like, Benno, our guitarist, he's a brilliant songwriter and he has lots of interesting ideas. And then, but before it gets past anything else, it's normally like Brock and I will listen to it, like, as, I guess, the vocalist, and be like, man, this song doesn't work. Because he'll be like, cool, like a 32-bar like guitar drone. That's it. And it's like,
whole solo.
Like, yeah, it's cool, but what the fuck are we gonna do?
Exactly.
That's so true, brother. Like, we were literally just talking about this, like, before we started potting, and we're talking about how we've seen some bands play, and as musicians and as artists, they're, like, insane and really great at their instruments, but I felt vocally they couldn't. Like, it was just like almost a 4-minute guitar solo. And I was like, I won't say the name of the bands, but like, there were, you know, some bands we've seen play, and just like, we're just like, so that's a very true point of having to almost not have just a flex part and have a bit more of a songwriting component to it, and having to find that balance between the two is very important as well.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. And that's something we always try to balance. Like, it's definitely like, we all know bands that are just like musicians bands. It's like your regular person listening to it be like, oh, I kind of get it, but not really. Whereas,
but
like,
it's in like 7 8
who play guitar, like,
periphery.
whoa.
Yeah, they're insane.
Yeah, bands like that. And it's like, you know, we'll listen to it and be like, that's skits.
Yeah.
But, you know, like, you wouldn't hear it.
Like, well, it's just too much information hitting my brain right now. Like,
yeah, exactly. Like, I think, like, one of my mantras when it comes to writing is simple isn't necessarily a dirty word when it comes to music.
Yeah.
As long as, like, I don't know. I feel like if you can pull it back in sections, it makes the big sections even bigger.
Yeah. It does. That's exactly right, man. That is 100% it. It's contrast. It's dynamics within the song. You can pull it back. So then when you do go all in, it makes it 100% makes it bigger. That's exactly it, man. It's the same approach we take. Little thing that you said I want to jump on is like you said, let's say you have an idea and you're all vibing to it. You're like, yeah, we really like this. And you'll jump in the studio. How does that work being in different parts of Australia? Do you guys just jump to the same studio, or do you go to whatever studio is local to you, or how's that work?
So Cal's based down in Melbourne, so we all fly down to Melbourne and
awesome.
Spend a good chunk down there. When we did the album, I was living in Melbourne for like 2.5 months.
Wow,
that's so sick. So it's
just doing that
great
stuff.
Commitment. Like you're all committed and you jump straight in and you're all together. So that'd be like non-stop. Similar when we did the EP and it was only 7 days. It's not 2 months, but we came in and every single day we were just in the studio here and we'll so that's awesome, man. That's really cool.
Yeah, very cool.
It's cool. We're
making it work.
Yeah, I can say it. We're going to the studio next week. So
awesome.
I'm so excited.
I'm excited.
Yes, I'm excited.
I'm excited for it. Yeah, we're like, music's being made. I just wanted to check in. One thing kind of like we sort of like to get a handle on is like working as a team or like within a group. So when you're within a team or like environment, it's hard to balance the interests and kind of wants and needs and happiness of all members in a group. And you guys have got 5 members, is that right? 5 of you there?
Yeah.
So
we're
like
5 piece.
So 5,
and our sound tech comes everywhere with us. So we're a 6 piece essentially.
There you go. 6. That would be awesome. Yeah. So like with 6 people in your group, like how do you manage the hierarchy, so to speak? Like, is there a sort of a clear sort of defined roles for each person and you guys sort of stay in your lane, or are you sort of all just crisscrossing and working together?
Yeah. I don't know. It's sort of like developed over the years. When we first started, it was kind of, a few people did their own little like role and stuff, but for the most part it was like super diplomatic. Everything was always a discussion, and sort of as we were going we realized like the old saying like too many cooks in the kitchen
100%
like will spoil a meal or whatever, and it definitely does get like that. So it slowly but surely just made its way to like sort of I handle all like the management side of the band, which is super important. We all sort of stay in our own lane and, play to each other's strengths. It's still like always like an open book, open discussions with whatever, but it's sort of like I'll make most of this like decisions like band wise. I'll sort of be like, hey boys, you cool with this? And everyone normally just goes, yeah, man, whatever you reckon.
Yeah.
And then like Benno and Brock, I'd say like chief songwriters, and then, Brock's a tattoo artist. He's very talented. So sort of him and I will work on merch and stuff and ideas. Cool. And awesome. Like, I don't know, we've always been a super DIY band in the sense that, we try to do as much as we can ourselves.
Yeah.
And 100%. We're just lucky we've got like a talented artist and, someone who half knows what they're doing management wise. So we've proud to say we've never had management. We've never
that's awesome,
had like outsourced merch and stuff like that. So it's
that's
like
really impressive, man. Sick.
I feel like no one's ever going to give a fuck about the band as much as you.
100%, mate. No, you guys got the best interest in mind.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, well, I guess I do sort of steer the ship and make a lot of the decisions and stuff like that. And I'm the like point of contact with, record label, booking agents and all that sort of stuff.
You do need that though. You do need to have someone as the kind of figurehead and someone to kind of go to. So, because that's a role, that's something that you might obviously have as a strength. So that's something that then you can just take off the hands of somebody else that might feel a little bit out of their comfort zone with that kind of stuff, Yeah.
And it's like, Jordo, our drummer, is like, not even being biased, one of the best like drummers for the genres in like Australia.
Yeah, it's
and
mad.
he just has to play drums. We all know that. We're all just like,
he just rocks up and plays. And he's
be the fucking human metronome you are, and it'll be sweet.
That's awesome.
But, you know, so like it's cool having like some members like that. But when it comes to like artistic direction and like songwriting and stuff like that, we'll all sort of throw in our opinions and stuff. But it's not like there's 5 solo dudes just trying to smack a song together. It'll sort of be like main people sort of taking their role and going like that. I think it works. Like, you know, if all 5 of us were talking to like booking agents or the record label and stuff, shit would get confusing.
It'd be dirty.
Absolutely.
So,
yeah, that's cool, man.
We sort of delegate.
That sounds good. Sounds like you got a good balance, and like you said, it adapts over time and just sort of like works its way out, and you sort of figure out where you guys sit and how that adapts. So let's jump back to Full Tilt Festival really quick, because I want to hear about how it went for you guys, and then you backed it up on the sunny coast as well the day after, right?
Yeah. We had a sideshow with Northlane and Void Vision, which was sick.
Yeah, that's very cool. So tell us a bit about like because you know we're sort of yet to play in sort of venues or like sort of events of that kind of caliber. So in terms of like the setup for a professional, what I would call a pro gig, when you got like big bands and stuff coming through, like is there some things that like you sort of wish you'd known first before you went into these types of things that you've learned kind of along the way, in terms of just the whole live experience and playing as a band?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of that stuff that you, like, as you said, you pick up along the way. Like, you know, if we had been booked for Full Tilt 5 years ago, we would have bombed, dude. Yeah. We would have bombed so hard. Not saying we were a bad band or anything. It's just like you need that experience. You need to work your way up, because like when shows start getting that big, you know, like Full Tilt sold like 5,000 something tickets. Yeah, it's like when there's that many people there, like you need to think past the point of you're just a band playing like some songs you wrote. Like you got to think about the whole show, the whole aspect.
Yeah.
You know, and like as the band's progressed, we've upgraded our gear and stuff. Like, you know, we run in-ear monitors and, you know, like full backing rigs and shit like that. So
yeah, like that's cool. We were just talking about a bit of that before, so that's kind of, it's cool to hear like that. And obviously, if you listen back to the episode, you'll hear us sort of yarning about that before you jumped on. So we're talking about all the in-ears and backing tracks and kind of using things like wireless jacks and you know, the difference between pedal setups versus, you know, like amp sims and all this type of thing. So
do you guys do tap dancing?
Yeah, do you tap dance with your pedals, or you got like
have you MIDI got, controller, or how do you boys go about? What is your live setup for? Because obviously, especially with your boys' music, it's very, you know, you got some insanely crazy awesome screams, heavy, distorted, and then it's like clean and nice reverb, and like how do you go about switching your tones up live?
We toyed with, like, we do have the ability to MIDI control, and we toyed with the idea of everything, like, change it, but, man, that shit's scary.
Yeah, it is scary, huh? Yeah, that's what I was still talking about.
And, like, I don't know, like, we're still, like, you know, while, like, every band's moving towards the digital age and, like, you have all these extra things that, like, level up your live show, at heart, we are still just a punk band.
Yeah.
So we don't want to like lose that. We don't need it to be like fully automated, everything on the beat, like instant changes and stuff. So and like, you know, we change things up live. Like our live stuff isn't necessarily like exactly the same as the studio version of the songs.
Yeah.
You know, we'll change tones to suit like different rooms even and stuff like that.
Never thought of that.
So, you know, and like live wise, you know, you sort of want everything as like a wall of sound. You don't want like two guitars here, like fighting for the presence. You want like different tones and stuff. So we still control all that. You know, Benno in particular has a lot of like clean reverbs and like some guitar solos and stuff like that. So he controls all that.
Yeah, sweet.
So me being the bass, I use my board as a tuner. I got a few different channel setups, but for the most part, I'm sort of just plug in and get riffing.
You're rocking the old school amp and cab combo? Just like an amp head on top of a cab?
Yeah, so like, you know, we're all on digital rigs now, so like it is coming through the PA as well, but we still want that like that live feeling and that stage sound. So we run both. We have it coming through the PA, and we have amps and everything on stage as well.
Yeah, that's what we did our last show.
Yeah, just like run doubles.
Just makes it feel more authentic, and
you can also feel the vibrations behind you too when you got the cab behind you, and you get because if you pump the fallback speakers up too high, you can get some high pitched squealing that you sort of don't want to avoid. I made that mistake. I tried to do the walk forward and put your foot on it, and then just went. I was like, oh shit. Stand back.
Yeah, that's exactly why we want cabs.
Yeah.
And in-ears help as well. So I got two little fallbacks in my ears.
So they come. So you send your actual on stage mix back through your in-ears as well.
Yeah,
that's so cool. That's our next step.
Yeah, because we got in-ears as well, but we just run a click. We just run Ableton and have a click, and then send that to our in-ears, to our little box, and then that goes to our in-ears, and we just follow the clicks. And then Jordan just in between songs will just whatever click the next one.
Yeah, that's cool.
It was cheap.
Originally, like I never used to play with a click just because I thought it'd take away from the show.
Right.
And like the vibe and everything. But sort of post-COVID, these shows coming back, I was like, all right, like, let's give it a go. And it drowns out instantly, and like you don't even notice it.
You don't even notice it. It's just the rhythm fucking controller, really. And no one, you know, when what would you call it? Like bridges are coming up and transitions and
especially when you can hear your mix in your ears, it helps so much. So that would be really cool.
Yeah. And we all have like our own individual mixes as well. So awesome. Like I get more bass and my voice in my ears, and I get all of Brock's screams cut out. So you know, just stuff like that.
I don't think I've ever played a show and actually heard my own voice. It's hard, bro. Like we'll
get there.
Makes you realize how bad you are. But it also makes you level up pretty quick. I remember when I first started using it, when I could start hearing stuff, I was like, "Oh shit, I got to practice."
I'm flat on that that note there. Yeah. Are you thinking you're doing a scream and Fry screams are just like, like just like no power to your scream? You're like, "Oh shit."
That's awesome, bro. One sort of last thing that we like to kind of touch on if we bring people on is to kind of go through your, well, I was going to say top 5, but it takes a while. But let's do top 3 bands, both like big. So any influences just for you personally,
and then just one local,
and then see if you can give us one local,
underground,
hidden secret talent or something like that.
Yeah, sweet.
Have you got anything for us?
Yeah, so my first ever favorite band was Sum 41. So that's like, they're the band that made me like pick up a guitar in high school, and I was like, oh, holy fuck. Like, I want to do this kind of thing. Because like, I didn't really come from a musical background. It's like my parents were into it, my friends or anything like that. I just hit high school and like started listening to punk rock and like, you know, the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 soundtrack and stuff. I always gravitated towards the heavier side of stuff.
Yeah.
And then like high school was the first time I like saw a guitar, and I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. I'll give that a shot.
That's awesome.
Like I got to pay homage to Sum 41 there. Like they're a super important band for me. Another one is Aussie Legends in Parkway. The first band I saw live. So I grew up in the Byron area, so I used to go to like the UP shows and the high school shows. And man, the first time I saw them, it just blew me away.
Yeah.
I was like, holy fuck, I want to do that. Like the first time I felt a sub drop, I was like, what was that? Looking around, I was like, did anyone else feel that?
Yeah.
Like,
That's really wicked.
Like Parkway, like they still rip hard, man. Like I saw them on their last tour, and I was just like, it's like proper inspiring shit.
It is, and their doco is
cool.
fully awesome to watch. Like from conception, from their days in Byron through to running world stages and that. So it's pretty cool. It's very inspiring, like you said.
Yeah, it's huge. And it's like I grew up watching those docos, being like, I want to do that one day. And now, like, you know, their European booking agent is our booking agent, and
that's amazing.
You know, he's in those docos. And he'll like email me like, "Hey, Jen, I like your band. Like, can't wait to see you guys in September." And I'm like, "That's the guy from the Parkway DVD."
That's so cool. Yeah,
dream to reality.
That's it.
So yeah, that's pretty hype. Like a third one. I'm gonna go the UK band called Don Broco.
Okay.
New one for me. Yeah, new one for us.
Yeah, they're like poppy rock, but like with heavy influence as well. And they're signed to our record label, Sharp Tone Records. And I remember when we first started talking to them, I sort of went and checked out the like roster. I was listening to Don Broco. I was like, this band's super cool, and they've got a song called "Come Out to LA," and it's sort of like, you know, having dreams of like making it and, you know, being unsure about it and trying to like navigate, I guess, the music industry and stuff. And at the time I was like, holy shit, this is my life.
Yeah. That's so
and cool. Their album Technology, man, fucking rip. Like it's probably the reason we signed to Sharp Tone, to be honest. I like listened to them. I was like, this band rips. The label must know what they're doing.
Yeah.
So
that's cool. Well, that's on our list to check out. So thank you for that one.
Yeah,
that's wicked.
Check them out. They're sick. I'd start with the album Technology.
Okay.
All right. Well done.
It rules.
Sick, man.
Yeah. Have you got a local band or some sort of up and coming band? I don't know. Yeah. You don't feel like you have to say us.
We do this to every band that we ask to sort of use. They're really cool.
Yeah.
Don't mention it. I'm going to shout out local Brizzy boys, Head Wreck.
Oh, okay. I haven't heard of him. That's dope. That's another one else I get to listen to now.
Yeah, cool.
Head Wreck.
Yeah. They're called Head Wreck.
Oh, his internet's gone. Oh, no, the beating might be over. It's been 40 minutes.
No, we lost him.
Oh, bye, Jayden.
He's gone to sleep. All right. Well, we might get him back. There's some technical difficulties. Ladies and gentlemen, can you make a beep sound whilst I, like, sort out the technical difficulties? I don't know. Maybe that's it. Maybe we say thank you to Jayden. Yeah. Well, that was the last question anyway. That was good timing. I mean, maybe
I was looking at the camera at the time up there, and I was like, any second it's going to be like...
he's going to drop out. Well, yeah, I may as well...
Yeah.
Oh, like, he's back! Jayden.
Oh, what?
Jayden.
Hey, he's back.
You there?
We made it.
I'm back?
Dude, you were gone for like a solid minute.
Yeah, solid minute. Oh, no, he's gone again.
Yo, what's this internet you on, G?
Okay, no, that's great. All right. Well, okay, he's back. He's somewhat back.
No,
We'll say thank you anyway, my bro.
Have we got me?
Yeah, we've got you back. So we'll say thank you anyway, my dude. Thanks so much for joining us and spending some time with us this evening. And where can we find you guys? Like, is it all just at Stepson online and stuff? Is that where people can find you?
Yeah, all our handles are at Stepson Punk. So social media and all that stuff. Spotify, dope. Apple Music, Pitch Poison.
Awesome.
Hell yeah, man.
Whatever music thing you use, we're probably on it. So
great. That's how it should be. All right, wicked. Well, thank you so much again, bro, and you have a good night, and we'll see you again soon, hopefully.
Too easy.
See you, brother.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, bro. See you soon.
Catches.
Bye.
Catch up.
Good stuff.
I think that worked.
Cool. So little blip, blip, blip going on.
Yeah, well, look, at least it didn't happen halfway through the interview.
Yeah.
That was fun. He's a very nice guy. I really like him.
One thing I can take away from that, like just right off while it's fresh in my mind, is just how often bands across all skill levels, well, I mean not skill levels, but all career levels have such similar either problems that they have to overcome or similar things that work well. Like there's so many things Jayden said just then. I was like, that's fucking you and me. Yeah. We talked about that and we did this and we made that mistake. And then when we're watching, the Parkway Drive doco as well, there were so many things where the band was talking about this and that and money and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, that's exactly what we went, like, we're trying to go through. And so it's really
that was
cool.
really cool. And it makes you feel a little bit better that there's other people out there going through the same sort of issues. And I guess, for us, maybe we just need to start reaching out more and hanging out with people that get us and understand us.
Why did you have to make it lame? Like, we were having a good chat, and then he just... Morgan's the sad one. He's not even here.
It's not. I had to balance out the couch.
Feeling his energy.
Yeah. No, that was really cool. So
we don't need the headphones on.
Yeah, well, I took them off because I thought I was a little bit, done with those. Right. I think that's it. Well, we went a little bit longer with Jayden than anticipated, but that was good because we got some great information out of him to share, and hopefully that helps whoever is listening. It certainly helped us. Can I do one thing before we finish?
That's what she said. Let's go.
Yeah, okay. So the last thing is that I had some, music news.
All right.
That I've picked 2 headlines, right? And I just want to brush on this topic a little bit before we finish. I'm not going to show you the headline, but you have to pick which one you'd like to hear about.
Okay.
So the first headline is, musicians dedicated to saving electronic instruments for the future. When I read that, I thought it just meant like they're going to save them so they don't die out, which I thought was a bit interesting. So there's that one. And then the second one is, how much music marketing is too much? Which one would you like to listen to?
Sort of both.
Okay, well, I'll tell you about the first one. Musicians dedicated to saving electronic instruments for the future. Basically, someone has set up in Melbourne, I believe, a school or a course where they're bringing in these old school synthesizers, and I'll show you a picture. See all the knobs and the buttons and things on there? For anyone not looking, it's old school synth.
It's like a VST without the VST.
It's a modular synth with what looks like spaghetti junction with all of the different things all over it. And basically they're setting up these courses and classrooms to teach people how to use these old school synthesizers so that the old original way of creating electronic music is preserved in the future. So, for example, like you might get an antique guitar or drum kit or something and be like, I'm saving it because it's retro. They're saving these retro things and teaching people how to use it. Anyway.
It's definitely a much more complicated way of doing it.
Yeah, it is. But, they're keeping the sound alive.
You have to be a lot more knowledgeable to use those as well. You actually have to know what a syn and a saw wave and a bloody
I think that's what makes it kind of cool is that's what sort of spiked my interest was that, right? They're trying to keep you in the loop as to how the electronic music
because nowadays you can just
created.
Get a preset from Google, be like EDM preset, and then someone's just gone on Serum and gone, here you go.
And it's already there, So it's kind of like, I thought that was cool. Anyway.
There you go.
Second one about the music marketing. Basically, what they're saying on here is that...
Stop spamming your fans.
This is from digitalmusicnews.com. So obviously they know what they're talking about. Do you think there's an oversaturation problem for music marketing?
There's an oversaturation problem in music in general.
Yes, but maybe like music marketing. Like say there's one person puts out a song, they might put out 15 bits of content with it.
Yeah, that's sort of the way. Yeah, it's the way that social media is nowadays. It's because of the way that the algorithm picks things up. I'm gonna scratch my throat. The way the algorithm works is it picks up things that are getting lots of clicks frequently. So you're better off. Like people have figured out, you're better off putting out lots of little bits of content, building up, and then this is
what this website says is actually quality actually trumps the quantity, which we've spoken about before, making sure
that's
that we're
what
not
I would
just posting.
rather do. Yeah,
and it's saying talk about your music less, which I think is really important because
We've
everything
almost
is like,
started doing that a little
go
bit.
listen to this song, go listen to my song, listen to my
like, who
song,
cares?
listen to my music. And it's like, whoa.
You're
hang
like
on.
a pop-up ad. You're like a literal pop-up ad.
Yeah, and people don't care about that. It's just like, share other aspects of your life and things like this, a podcast where people can get something else out of it rather than just benefit to you.
Behind the scenes.
They also said be authentic in terms of not just the type of content, which we've spoken about before, but the frequency that you're uploading and to the platforms that you're uploading to. Right. So I thought that was kind of poignant as well because it's not just like, running on TikTok and just posting a whole bunch of stuff just because you think it's hot right now.
You could also adapt the content to the platform you're on as well. Like I could put the same tutorial on YouTube and then the same tutorial on TikTok, but the way I would edit it and present it on TikTok would be different to how I would have done it on YouTube. I do it in like a short fashion on TikTok.
That's very true. Yeah, because that's kind of what it's saying. It's just, make it natural to the platform. Woo! You're having a fit. Well, I think that's enough talking for today. Maybe we'll wrap up the episode. That was a good one. It's time to go to bed, actually. It's quite late. So thanks again, Jayden, for joining us. Go check out Stepson. We're gonna go check out those bands that he suggested. We're gonna go practice our instruments so that we can play full tilt next year and headbang with Jayden. So thanks guys for listening. We'll see you again, hopefully at the end of this month for another one. See you soon.
Bye.
Felicia.